Hello, my name is Rob Kinneen. I'm the Outreach Director for NATIF's North American Traditional Indigenous Food Systems. Today we're going to be making a foraged vinaigrette. We've got spruce tips, cedar boughs, dried cedar boughs, and
what is the Indigenous food lab?
we've got an R&D kitchen over here. We're doing nixtamalization of corn. We're making tortillas. This is a media kitchen, so we're actually filming right now. So turn around and say hi to your parents if you want to.
Yeah.
And then over here, we've got a spirit kitchen, which does fast casual food, indigenous food, all pre-contact, which means no beef, pork, chicken, no dairy, no butter, cheese. Yeah, and then there's a marketplace as well with all indigenous First Nation products, yeah.
So all the product that they're making in this big kitchen in large quantity, where is that going?
Some of these are going to different wholesale accounts. One of them is Awamni. Again, that's a pre-contact, very busy, hustling, bustling restaurant with indigenous foods.
I've eaten there.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah, well, okay, well, thank you.
Absolutely, you enjoy.
Thank you.
Sure. Foraged vinaigrette, take 2. We have dried spruce tips, cedar boughs, Labrador tea, rosehips, and just to give it a little umami background flavor, I'm using black seaweed, but you could also buy kombu or sea lettuce or dulse. Those are all items that are available in the commercial market. And then basic vinaigrette premise. So we have the mustard as the binder, cider vinegar, create a little background flavor, and then the volume of sunflower oil. What I did is I measured out all these ingredients, but I want to show you this really quickly. With the Labrador tea, for example, there are long tines, so I couldn't get a weight on them, but I basically just kind of rough chopped them so that when we're talking about this, I put down grams. So I think you can eyeball this to a degree, or if you have more of this or less of that, that's fine. But I did this to also so it would fit into a spoon. And you've got about a tablespoon of Labrador tea here because it's a dried tea. It didn't weigh anything on the scale. It didn't register. Same thing with cedar boughs. I just kind of broke them up so they could fit into a spoon, but I did give a gram weight. I believe it was 3 grams. Spruce tips, kind of the same thing. We can just kind of do a quick rough chop. And that's just if you want to measure it to be a little more precise. But a lot of the inspiration for this also is just, you can buy like tea mixes and things like that, and you can put them right into the ingredient or right into the base. So I've got this. I've used a Vitamix. This is hopefully an immersion blender will be a similar result. We're going to actually add the Labrador tea, cedar boughs, rosehips. Sometimes I'll use hibiscus as an alternative if I don't have rosehips. These are going to make a little bit of noise because they're a little more, they're firm, a little more dense. The difference is that also you want to be cautious with the rosehips or the hibiscus because it will bleed, so the sauce will become red very quickly. So just a little bit of that. Got some spruce tips, and again the seaweed. And normally I've seen this kind of ground up, so I am going to break this up a little bit. So before it rehydrates from the vinaigrette, it'll be in smaller pieces, and I think that's kind of important for this. Not as important with dulse or sea lettuce because sea lettuce is so brittle, so delicate. And again, kombu is actually also kind of something you might want to run a knife over it just to get it separated up or broken up a little bit. So we've got this. We're going to take a little bit of Dijon mustard. And again, this is the binding agent or emulsification agent. Going to have our immersion blender ready to rumble. Add the vinegar. I'm tilting it to the side a little bit. Again, you want to make this with enough volume so you can use an immersion blender. This is where a regular drink blender might work better, or a Vitamix. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to add a little bit of oil. Now you're gonna have some tartness from the rosehips and also from the cedar bough. The cedar's gonna add a sweetness to this that's very subtle and really enjoyable. Everything else will have kind of the medicinal benefits or earthy qualities, and that's nice. But you want to make sure it balances out. So this is the finished vinaigrette, and what we have is, the cedar boughs, the spruce tips, the medicinal qualities that have been kind of rehydrated into the sauce, but also the sweetness from the rosehip. You've got these little delicate color points in there. I've got a nice little balance. So I've got the neutrality of the oil. It's holding in all those little flavors. To your liking, if you enjoy, you can put a little honey or agave in there just to sweeten it up. But I love the taste of this because I'm also thinking, even though it's nice and tart and medicinal, it's gonna go with something like seafood that tends to be a little sweet. So it'll really balance out a plate. Foraged vinaigrette. See you soon.